time for a CBJ in 30 short shift. Here's Bob McElligott.
Yes, I decided to come out of my holiday slumber and give you just a CBJ in 30 short shift. That's all you need to get ready for tonight's New Year's Eve game between the Blue Jackets and the Ottawa Senators. It obviously will be the last game of the calendar year for both of these teams. So Blue Jackets come into this game after losing to Toronto. They lost on Friday night by the score of 4-2. The last time the Ottawa Senators played was on Saturday against the Washington Capitals. They lost that game by the score of 3-2. Blue Jackets overall record 22-13-3, good for 47 points coming into this one tonight. At home, they still continue to struggle. They're just over 500 at 10-8-2 on home ice. The Ottawa Senators, they struggle no matter where they go. Their overall record is 15-20-4. That's good for only 34 points. On the road, they are a dismal 4-13-1 this year. So on paper, the Blue Jackets have the advantage. They've got to actually play the game and win it. Doesn't matter what they look like on paper. Blue Jackets will be without their captain tonight, Nick Foligno. It was announced yesterday by the organization that Nick's daughter, Milana, has to undergo surgery. She is having that surgery done in Boston. Nick has stepped away from the team so that he can be there for his daughter, as well he should be. He will not be in the lineup tonight, and that means that Lucas Sedlak apparently gets to get back in the lineup. Eric Robinson has been called up from the Cleveland Monsters, but Lucas Sedlak looks to be the guy that jumps in to the lineup for the Blue Jackets tonight to play with Boone Jenner and Oliver Bjorkstrand, which means that Alexander Wenberg will play with Anthony Duclair and Josh Anderson in tonight's game. So that's a bit of a challenge for the Blue Jackets. They're going to be without their leader tonight, but it's part of the deal. They understand what Nick is going through with his family. They understand what is of utmost importance. So when I talked with Anthony Duclair earlier today, his sentiment was, we're going to play for Nick tonight, and we're going to play for Nick, for his current team against his former team, the Ottawa Senators. So the guys have the right outlook on it. Nick Foligno certainly has the right outlook on it as well. I did have a chance earlier today to catch up with the head coach of the Blue Jackets, John Tortorella, just covering all things with his team, where they are, where he wants them to be by the end of the night, and what he feels is the most overrated holiday in existence. Here's my chat with John Tortorella. Torch, first of all, you have to play this game tonight without your captain. I know you're always the first one to say family first, and for Nick, that's what it is right now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the most important thing. And I talked with him last night. We sent a couple of texts this morning. This game of hockey means nothing compared to what's going on there.
And his teammates, you know how he is in the room, obviously. Not only is he the captain, but he's a guy that a lot of guys are close to, and a lot know his family, obviously, and his kids very well. So, but as a pro athlete, you set it aside and you do your business, right?
Yeah, the players have to play. Nick and his family are they're at a really good hospital out there up north, and that's a family that gives so much. His wife, his kids, and some of the things they've had to go through. So sure, you think about that, but when the puck is dropped, it's time to play the game. We can't do anything to help, so we got to play the game.
In the game that you played against Toronto the other night, we all know the challenges that you had with the day before and all that. But when you get done looking at that game, do you as a coach look at it and say, okay, it's kind of a measuring stick, like this is one of the top teams in the conference. What do we have to do if we want to approach that level?
No, I don't believe in measuring sticks. I look at the game. We started off well. I thought we ran out of energy, which, quite honestly, I don't want to give our team excuses, but it's to be expected a little bit, and some of the travel and just some of the scheduling that happened with those two games. So, no, I think this team is beyond measuring sticks. Maybe we should be a measuring stick towards other teams. I think when you start talking about other teams as measuring sticks, you're saying to your team, you're lesser. I don't look at that as us a lesser team than any team in this league.
That is fair enough. I do have to ask you, though, in that game the other night, it's another one of those where if you could get one timely power play goal, maybe you can change the momentum of that game, right?
Yeah, I think the key is we don't score in the power play, and the 4-on-4 play when it's 2-1 to go up 3-1. That's a huge play where I think if we just back check and make that a 2-on-2 instead of an odd man rush, maybe we find a way. Yeah, but no, there's no question. Our power play sucks. We have found our way through the first half of this year with a very inconsistent power play and still found ways to win. It's going to bite us in the ass if we don't get some sort of action out of it.
How much are you hoping that first unit that you have now, which is essentially taking your 5 best offensive players and putting them on the ice, that kind of spurs it a little bit?
We hope so. We've tried a lot of different things. We've changed our breakouts. We've done a lot of different things with it to make it happen. And hopefully we put those 5 guys together. They're very instinctive 5-on-5. We're hoping they're going to be instinctive 5-on-4. And we'll give them a foundation, but then we want them to use their instincts as far as just opening up the ice for one another. So we'll see how it works.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but a couple of years ago, if your team would have lost a game like that the other night, the feeling today would kind of be a little, can we get this win tonight before we go into the New Year's Day and all that stuff? I don't get that sense from your team at all anymore. Am I right?
No, we've grown up as a team. I think we're one of the top teams in the league. Our record shows that in the regular season. Have we solved it in the playoffs? Absolutely not. But regular season, we have found our way. So we need to come into tonight's game and feel good about ourselves and just get about our business and keep on trying to get better as each and every game comes.
And this is another one of those games where the team you're playing against has its challenges. It's not about them. It's not about you. It is about you.
It's about us. We've had some time off. We had a good practice day. Let's get ready to play a good game tonight. All we're concerned about is tonight's game, nothing else.
I just got to ask you one thing. When you're up until midnight tonight, are you watching the ball drop or watching the game tape?
I will not be up until midnight.
Really?
Yeah. If I am, it's because I'm watching tape. But quite honestly, I think the New Year's is one of the most overrated holidays that we have. So let's get about it here.
But if you're watching tape, does that mean that you're mad and still up at midnight? Or?
Probably, yeah. If I won't be up at midnight if I think we're okay. I don't think I'll be up. If not, I'm trying to figure out what went wrong. So we'll see where it goes.
Well, Torch, sleep well, get to bed early. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bobby.
Just getting the Blue Jackets head coach to laugh one more time before the year is over means the most to me. So that is John Tortorella, hoping that his team is ready to go in this game tonight. Again, the team that they are going to face is really, they're a banged-up team. They have lost talent. They have talent that is on the shelf because of injuries, but that doesn't mean that they have no players that are going to hurt you, because that would be a stupid thing to say. The guy that leads them in points and the guy that leads them in goals is still active for this game tonight, and that is Mark Stone, who in 39 games has put up 43 points, and he has done that with 18 goals along the way. So Mark Stone is certainly a focal point. Now, both him and the next guy I'm going to talk about are guys that could be unrestricted free agents at the end of the year that Ottawa is trying to deal with. They're trying to get them re-signed. They're trying to get them to buy into this rebuild that they are in the midst of right now. Mark Stone does lead the way on that, but a close second, if not tied for first on that list, is Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene has 37 points, including 15 goals in 33 games coming into this game tonight. And you know, they've got guys who have recognizable names. Zach Smith is still playing. Bobby Ryan is still playing. Ryan Dzingel, he's another guy that's going to be a free agent. He's got 25 points. They haven't talked about him as much because they're worried about those other two guys. But, again, there are still recognizable names and good talent on this team. But Brady Tkachuk is a player that got drafted in the first round by Ottawa. Remember, they could have given up their first-round pick to the Colorado Avalanche. They could have either done it this summer or waited until next summer to give up the pick. And that is all part of that Matt Duchene trade that they made. They decided to hold on to the pick this year and take Brady Tkachuk, who was opting whether or not he was going to come to the NHL or go back to Boston University. Well, he decides to come to the NHL. It's not been a bad decision for Brady Tkachuk. He's played in how many games? 28 games. Thought that was a 6 for a moment. 28 games, and he's got 20 points, 10 goals, 10 assists. He's been pretty balanced, obviously, when you look at the points. He also plays the game with a bit of an edge. So the Blue Jackets will be wary of that tonight. You can't let him goad you into any penalties here this evening. That's going to be one thing when he's on the ice that the Blue Jackets have to watch out for, because he will play with that edge, and he will, he'll try to get you off your game as much as he possibly can. The Blue Jackets, you heard John Tortorella talk about their power play. They're still trying to figure it out. They do need that part of their game to come to life. They do need a win on home ice tonight in this game, just because. It's the division is tightening up. Other teams are not letting their foot off the gas. You can't miss out on opportunities. This is one of those games. When you play a team like this, it's one of those games that you just quite simply have to win. The Blue Jackets come into this game tonight in second place. They are 4 points behind Washington. They are just 1 point ahead of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the New York Islanders continue to keep themselves relevant in this race. They are outside the playoffs looking in right now, but not by much, just 1 point. They're 1 point out of a wild card spot behind Montreal. They are also just 2 points behind Pittsburgh, which means they are 3 points behind the Blue Jackets. So that's where the race is. And now that we're at the end of December and the calendar turns to January tomorrow, we start to pay a lot more attention to those standings. They do become more relevant now, especially once this team gets to the All-Star break and comes out of the All-Star break. All-Star break to the trade deadline, kind of the dog days of the season. So you'll focus more on it when the All-Star break comes, but it's that time. It is that time. It's time to get serious about all of this stuff. The Blue Jackets are well aware of it. They will make every attempt to take care of business tonight at Nationwide Arena. The game is at 7 o'clock tonight. You'll be able to hear me on the Blue Jackets radio network. It begins with pregame coverage at 6:45 this evening on the flagship station, 97.1 The Fan, across the Blue Jackets radio network throughout Ohio and with a couple of stations in West Virginia. You can also get the game on your phone through the Blue Jackets app, or you can get it on the TuneIn app as well. And if you happen to be listening to satellite radio tonight, well, I can tell you exactly what channel you'll be able to find this game on between the Blue Jackets and the Ottawa Senators. And as soon as technology takes over here and I get a refresh, I can tell you what channel this one is going to be on tonight. And I'm still waiting, and finally that wait has come to an end. We'll be on XM Channel 201 tonight on Sirius XM Radio. Channel 201 is where you'll be able to find the game. So it's the Blue Jackets and the Senators. Now, before I wrap this up today, I've got to thank some people. And first of all, I've got to thank the fine people at Telhio Credit Union, because if it's not for Telhio Credit Union, this isn't here, quite frankly. I mean, they have given us the backing to do this podcast and bring it to you as often as I do. And I'd like to thank them for all their continued support, the hard work that they do. And as you go into a new year, you know, it's a time where you kind of reassess everything that you're doing, right? And if you don't have your money with Telhio Credit Union, maybe you should take a look at doing that, because they have been there since 1934, helping people to do what is best with their savings, with their money, with all of that stuff. So go to telhio.org. Find out more. Stop by one of their local branches later this week when the branches reopen. Talk to somebody about it. They will be glad to help you and point you in the right direction. Don't forget, Telhio is open to everyone in central and southwestern Ohio, and they are federally insured by NCUA. Don't forget that. So I have to thank them for being there for me, and I have to thank you for being there for me, because you're the one that really drives it. You are the straw that stirs the drink. I said Telhio does it, and they do from a sponsorship standpoint. There's no question about it. But a sponsor doesn't even get interested if it's not for you being there day in and day out. And by the way, you guys have been really patient with me throughout this last week. I haven't been bugged very much about where are you. I said I was going to take off between Christmas and New Year's. You have been fantastic. Let me enjoy my time both at work and with my family, and I've missed it, and that's why I'm here today, and I know you've missed it too. So later in the week we'll get back to the regular schedule and do this. But again, if it wasn't for you, there would be no need for me to sit down and bring you one of these podcasts ever. So thank you very much. I hope you have a very happy, I hope you have a safe, I hope you have a prosperous new year, and be careful tonight. I hope you enjoy the game. If you're coming to Nationwide Arena, be careful coming to the game and getting home tonight, and Happy New Year. That's all there is to say. Hopefully the Blue Jackets are able to do what they need to do tonight against the Ottawa Senators. 7 o'clock at Nationwide Arena. Until then, I'm Bob McElligott, again saying Happy New Year, and so long.